if you look at what happens to energy in the body, 65% of that which is ingested goes to resting energy expenditure, just to power the body. 10% goes to the thermic effect of food, and then 25% goes to activity. That's the breakdown of where the energy goes.
And that's calories from fat, protein, and carbohydrate.
Yeah, from everything together. And, glucose is a perfectly good example of how that works. The point is, though, that when you ingest glucose, you're getting a big glucose excursion in your bloodstream. So you're getting a big glucose spike. And that glucose spike has to come down. Well, what makes it come down? The hormone insulin. Insulin is the bad guy in this story. The higher your glucose goes, the more your pancreas will release insulin in order to bring that glucose down. Well, it turns out that glucose rise was not benign. That glucose rise led to endothelial dysfunction. Transient, but nonetheless endothelial dysfunction.
Could you just remind people what endothelial cells are?
The inside of your arteries, okay? And it will change blood pressure. We've got plenty of data to demonstrate how it changes blood pressure, and over time, that will cause coronary artery disease, that will cause kidney disease, et cetera. But it's the insulin response that is really the bad guy. Now, people think insulin is good because it lowers blood glucose. After all, diabetics take insulin, to lower their blood glucose. Okay, let's take a diabetic, a patient with diabetes. Blood sugar is 300. That's bad. We give them a shot of insulin in the arm. Blood sugar goes down to 100. Blood sugar went from 300 to 100. Okay. Where did the 200 points of blood glucose go?
I'm assuming that the insulin sequestered it.
To where?
I'm assuming to the liver.
To the fat.
Interesting.
For storage. That's insulin's job. Insulin takes whatever you're not burning and puts it into fat for storage. Insulin is not the diabetes hormone. Insulin is the energy storage hormone.
How quickly does it do that?
Pretty quick.
Because if I'm, having a very busy day, or the diabetic person is having a very busy day and they're moving around a lot, then you got insulin-bound glucose in the bloodstream for how long?
No, insulin doesn't bind glucose. Insulin binds to its receptor.
Sure, sorry.
And allows for glucose transporters
right.
to work.
But for some period of time while that person is active, there's an opportunity to utilize that glucose.
Well, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So how quickly is insulin managing that glucose? We know that the spike comes down quickly, but the glucose is not available for energy utilization after what? It's sequestered to the adipose, to the fat tissue within an hour? Is that about right?
About 90 minutes, yeah. But
okay.
If you're active, if you eat a muffin and you're active, okay, your muscles are going to take up that glucose irrespective of insulin. In fact, muscles are insulin independent. They have glucose transporters, but they are insulin independent because if they weren't, then every patient in diabetic ketoacidosis would be paralyzed. Okay, so glucose will end up in muscles irrespective of energy status and insulin status.
And in muscles, it's used as immediate fuel and glycogen?
Both.
Okay.
Immediate fuel and glycogen storage in the muscle. Absolutely. All right. Now, if you're active, then you will clear glucose into muscle. Therefore, your blood glucose won't rise as much because it went into muscle. And therefore, your pancreas will put out less insulin because it doesn't have to clear as much from the bloodstream. And that's okay. That's good. Right? But let's say you didn't exercise. So you've got a big glucose excursion. Now you have a big insulin response. And that insulin is going to take the excess that's in your blood. It has to clear it, and it will go to fat for storage. That insulin rise turns out to be particularly egregious in terms of metabolic disease, and I can prove it.